Hey, okay, I'm going to read a question that I got from Instagram. Hey, Brian, sorry about the late message. I was traveling for 2.5 years, and since I've come back, I feel like everyone has their lives sorted. They're either in relationships, buying houses, or amazing careers. Don't get me wrong, I'm not really down, but it just makes me second guess myself. Any advice, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, just to give you a bit of perspective, I'm not sure what age you are there or what age you are now, but just to give you a bit of perspective on me, I've just turned 29, and 4 years ago, I put up a Throwback Thursday last week. 4 years ago, I was still working in London as a primary school teacher, trying to get my personal training business off the ground in a tiny little apartment in West London. I had a network of friends, but they weren't massively supportive of what I was doing. And I left shortly after. I moved back home. I had to go on social welfare because I didn't have any job or income. I had to move in with my mum and dad, and I was driving my sister's little Yaris because I couldn't afford a car. So just to give you a bit of perspective that things can change massively over a 3 or 4 year period, and just because you don't know where you are now or you don't know where you're going right now doesn't mean that that path won't become clear. The thing that I would offer you, and that has worked for me, was I moved back, and the only difference between when I moved away at 22 and I traveled, I lived in California, then I lived in London for 4 years and worked as a teacher, was when I came back, I had a good idea of where I wanted my life to go. I wanted to get a personal training business off the ground. I wanted to work in the fitness profession, and I wanted to get out of my mum and dad's house and either move into my own house. I just wanted to rent at the time. I've since got my own place, but I wanted to move out of my mum and dad's house, and I wanted to get a car that wasn't my sister's Yaris that I wasn't sure was going to work every time I went into it. That was where I was at 4 years ago, and now I'm in a position, and it's not to be egotistical or brag, it's just to give you a bit of perspective, that I have my own house, I have a new car, I have a thriving business, and all of the things that I wanted, the ability to work with so many people and serve so many people and build up my social media and get my name out there and be able to help as many people as possible. That was all a dream 3 years ago. You know, all I knew then is that's what I wanted. I had no idea how to get there. Your brain is incredible at, if you make a decision on where you want to be, your reticular activation system, the part of your brain that will literally focus on things. It's like when you're, if you just broke up with somebody, all you can see is happy couples. If you're buying a new car, all you can see is new cars. That's your reticular activation system. It's the part of the brain that will design focus. It's like a GPS. If you literally sit down and go, okay, where do I want my life to be? What does it look like? What does my dream life look like? Does it look like a big house, a nice car, a new job, a supportive boyfriend? What does that look like for you? Because once you decide where you want to be, you can start working yourself towards that. The thing is, and I've spoke about this in other videos and on podcast episodes, that I had on my whiteboard for nearly 2 years, the quote, comparison is the thief of joy. Because what happens is you start comparing yourselves to others, and you can't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10 or somebody else's chapter 50. Your friends that have stayed at home have been able to put those 2 years into a relationship, so now they've got a thriving relationship. They put 2 years into the career, now they've got a thriving career. They put 2 years worth of money aside, now they've been able to build or buy their own home. You got that experience by traveling, so you're going to have friends that are probably going to be looking at you going, oh, I wish I traveled. Or in 5 years time they'll look back and go, oh, I wish I had done that, or I wish I had been able to travel the world like you did. So just be aware that don't compare your chapter 1 to their chapter 20. It's sunk cost, opportunity cost. It's an economics term where you sacrifice one thing to do something else. You sacrifice saving that money to buy a house. You sacrifice climbing that ladder to go traveling. The beauty of that is now you have that experience of traveling, and now you can start building your life towards the relationship, the job, the house that you want, all of these things. But it's key to understand what it is you want and then start working towards it. Literally sit down and decide, what does your perfect life look like? What does the job look like? What does the house look like? What does the partner, boyfriend or husband look like? What kind of a person do you want to be around? And then start moving towards that, because your brain is an incredible thing. It's literally like a GPS. If you know where you want to be and you can see that vision so clearly for yourself, you will start to work towards it. But in terms of comparing yourself with others, that's always going to make you miserable. I by no means have life figured out, but I do know the most miserable times that I've ever gone through was when I was comparing myself with other people. And I always remind myself, I cannot compare my chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. If your friends have a better job or thriving relationship or a nicer house, they're on a different chapter. They channel their energy in a different direction. You went in this direction and now you're working back. My advice would be to find what it is that your perfect life looks like and then start putting steps in place. And now this is your chapter 1. In 3 years time, you may be on chapter 20. And that's the the important thing. I can only offer my perspective on where I was and where I am now and where I'm continuing to go, because you're your own best example, and hopefully that'll support you. Maybe check out my Throwback Thursday as well on my Instagram and Facebook, Brian Keane Fitness, where I literally took a photo. I'm holding a dumbbell or a kettlebell with a weight training vest when I was trying to get my personal training business off the ground in London, when I used to pray that people would turn up to my classes. So that might give you even a bit more of a visual perspective. So I hope this video helps. Best of luck. Remember, don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. Hope this video helps. Please like and share. If you're watching this on Facebook, I'll be replying for the next 24 hours. And like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Catch you guys soon.